I would expect them to maybe get something together, maybe wait for one or two more items, and then try and force a team fight. Barrier Idol just getting picked up on Ophelia there, so definitely going for that. Shout out to T-Bizzle. Looks like they might even be grouping up and going for a Kong.
Yeah, absolutely. They have started it now with T-Bizzle's little Minotaur and the Catman Champion tanking that one out, but they were actually spotted by a Pharaoh Missile, so it looks like Zenith Gaming, they probably want to engage this. I'm not too sure that they want to give Forgotten Gaming a free Kong. Kong isn't dropping too fast at the moment. Another Pharaoh Tortured Soul there comes in. Tormented Soul even, but looks like Zenith Gaming are waiting for the right time to initiate, I think, Dan, and they're pretty keen to go in.
Yeah, they're pretty keen to go in, but the positioning from Forgotten is excellent. Looks like they're going to jump in right here. Magma's jumping in. Song of the Sea coming up from Bubbles and that kelp field as well. Silhouette actually jumping in with that portal key. The wards are down. Obviously, Glacial Downpour doing a lot of damage. Glacius on the run here. It looks like he's in a little bit of trouble. Magma's backing out long enough to erupt. Jump in again, and he used a Lava Surge stun. Pharaoh will go down. 3 have gone down for that Legion team. The rest are on the run at the moment. Polywog Priest, it will portal key out of there, and Wild Soul is long gone. So hugely in favour of that Hellborn team. They've got the token. They didn't lose it. Barrier Idol coming into effect there, and Silhouette picking up these little wards, getting even a little bit more gold.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just looking at the gold per minute at the moment, Silo is leading well ahead of of everyone in the game on 450 gold per minute or so. Kaiser Prime doing a great job on that Silo, and just looking at the gold for for Zenith Gaming at the moment, the highest they've got is a 255 GPM poly, and I think it's almost starting to get to the stage of the game where Harry Shell is starting to become a little bit irrelevant on that Wild Soul. He has a little bit of health, of course, that is offered to him from that ulti, but it looks like he's actually saving up here. He just bought. What did he buy? Something for the bear, I do believe. So he's actually going for the mock. Interesting pickup here. I suppose he's banking on the fact that he's just going to be able to split push a little bit more than he has been, and of course mock, reasonably strong split pushing item on Wild Soul.
Yeah, and I think he's going to use it as well to, especially if a team fight like that happens again, he can throw the bear in there. The Mock of Brilliance is obviously going to do a lot, or even just any damage that it does to Magmus, Silhouette, Bubbles. That's going to prevent them from portal keying around, and that's what they're really relying on at the moment, that huge counter initiation. They were able to counter initiate. Obviously, they got, as soon as the token was down, they threw the Zenith Gaming off guard, jumped in on them, collapsed on them, and did everything they could. I mean, if they can send the bear in first, scout out a little bit, and prevent those that Magma's portal key, prevent that Silhouette portal key, they could split up Forgotten Gaming just enough, maybe to pick out a couple of key heroes before backing off, or just turning the tide of that team fight. Especially, with you see Magmus walking off in that team fight there, you saw him walk off, channel that eruption, then jump back in. I mean, if you're quick enough, you do see that. You could stick the bear on him. He's not going to be able to portal key back in. He's going to waste that eruption. While that's happening, though, speaking of eruption, goes off in that bottom lane. Magmus just completely destroys that Pharaoh. And
Wow.
July 29 actually getting credit for the kill on that Glacius. So shout out to the supports. 6-1 on that Glacius. Mad amount of kills. Obviously helping him buy that eye. He's got the steam boots and potentially even building a Tablet of Command or a Gnome's Wisdom here.
Yeah, this is a Rambo-fed Glaciers, if there ever was one. July 29th, looking to build that 4 stuff, I'd assume, from that major totem he's got in his inventory there. So that will help quite a bit as well. 4 staff is helpful to have against something like a Polywog. If Poly tries to get a War Trap off, we just see Forgotten Gaming take this middle tower there, so that will further increase their gold lead in this game. Now, just looking at the golden experience, they are well ahead now. I'm not too sure what Zenith Gaming are going to have to do to come back into this game, Dan. I think that Forgotten Gaming, they're starting to edge out into a point where it really is their game to lose. As I've just said that as well, Kaiser Prime, he's picked up that shield breaker on Scylla. And looks like he's waiting around with the running around for the double damage rune. I'm not too sure what they're doing about that one. Looks like Kaiser Prime just waiting to take it. Doesn't want to take it quite yet. So just waiting for the opportune moment.
Someone's pointed out in the chat that Parasite can just steal the barrier buff. That is true. But obviously you got to remember that barrier buff going on to all the creeps and all the heroes, so it's going to be incredibly hard to shut down, especially if he's trying to steal it off a Silhouette, who has that Null Stone and now a Shield Breaker to boot. You can imagine perhaps something like a Firebrand, or even just going that pure damage route if Forgotten Gaming decides to, something like a Savage Mace next, which would just tear up in those team fights, of course.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, a Savage Mace, even if that was picked up by Silo next, by Kaiser Prime, then that would be absolutely devastating. Of course, with the attack speed proc on Silo, getting that extra true damage off, that can really deal a lot of damage very quickly. Now, speaking of damage, Silhouette's actually got that double damage rune, so it might be looking to play a little bit aggressively here up in the top lane. So Hollywog actually gets ported onto. The stun doesn't even need to proc for Kaiser Prime to get that kill onto KS for life.
That pushes him up above 526 gold per minute currently. Now they've got a minute and a half left on the token, so this is the time when they want to make some action. They've taken out that Polywog as well, so they're not going to be able to defend with that. This tower is going to go down very, very easily. I'm not sure what this Hellborn team's going to be able to do to fight back here. Potentially going to see a team fight brewing. Silhouette jumps in, doing huge amounts of damage to that Aluna. Magnus channeling that eruption, jumps in, gets a stun off onto Parasite and onto Wild Soul as well. Glacial Downpour doing a lot of damage onto that Pharaoh. Pharaoh will go down. Wild Soul sitting down the back lines, and GG well players are coming out. Legion voting to concede, and that's going to be it for the first game.
Yeah, a great, exciting first game to kick off the best of three in the grand final of the Cybergamer Invite League between Zenith Gaming and Forgotten Gaming. That was an absolutely intense first game. Forgotten Gaming taking it in the end. I think a well-deserved victory, and we'll have to stay tuned to see what Zenith Gaming come out with in this second match to try and swing the tides.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we have seen a similar match, obviously, in the semi-finals. Zenith did lose the first match there as well, and they were definitely able to turn it around with some superior picks and get a second game underway and just steamroll and dominate. And then they even moved to a third game and ended up doing a level 1 Kongor. So while I'm not sure if we're going to see a level 1 Kongor this match, potentially, definitely a change in the picks, change in the lineup. Maybe they've got a feel for how Forgotten Gaming wants to play, and Zenith, they've definitely got something to prove here to take out the grand final, and they need to win this match to have a chance. So a lot on the line, of course, but I'll be interested to see what is going to happen. Now, you guys tuning in, just stay tuned. We're going to be coming back with Game 2. I'm not going to stop the stream, so you can listen to some lovely music in the background as Gadget and I talk to ourselves. But if you want to take this time, go over to youtube.com/gogogadgetlol and subscribe to his channel there. You'll be able to see the VODs from Gadget's point of view once we're done. Obviously, twitch.tv/nfgdan you're tuning into now. So hit subscribe and support. Do the right thing. And I think we're waiting for this match to get created.
Yeah, I think so. So just wait to get into the second game of this best of three at the moment.
It's always a little bit hard to get an Australian server.
Got to essentially bat the Australian servers off. Everyone that's hosting those APCM or ARAM,
Mid-wars,
casual mode, mid-wars, all of that good stuff. Which, mid-wars can be a pretty fun game to, but things like the 1v1, what is that? 1v1 on Grimm's Crossing with duplicate heroes. Now, that's an interesting one. Quite a few games just knocking around the place as well. And, of course, you can't get the dreaded I think it's AU2 server. But I think is the dodgy one. So
yeah, there's obviously the AU. I haven't actually seen the AU1 It's in the AU2 and 3 a lot, and obviously the IPGN servers, the iPrimus Gaming Network. But it looks like...
Actually, yeah, the AU1 does that rings a bell as the dodgy one. Now that I think about it, of course, with the Australian matchmaker servers. So it's been so long since I actually had to play in a pub game. So it's great to have them as well. And also shout out to Best Glaciers in Oz as Solve in the chat. So it's a pretty huge glaciers there that we saw from July 29th.
It's always good to see good support, very not undervalued in the competitive scene by any means, but maybe in the pub scene, no one really likes picking those supports. No one likes spending their money on wards. Everyone wants to get the kills, be the big man, but it's definitely good to see that, when these teams come together, a little bit of a shout out coming to those supports, as it is tough, and it is tough to die a lot of times, though that Glacius, as we saw, definitely having a good score there by the end.
Yeah, absolutely. That is how supporting is meant to be done there. That July 29th just played such a huge Glacius that game, and it'll be interesting to see what he comes out with next game. And personally, from a solo queue perspective, or a TMM perspective, even I must say I'm quite partial to some of the more aggressive supports, such as Myrmidon. In fact, who I think Myrmidon could be seeing a little bit of a return to the competitive scene potentially. I mean, maybe not in this Cybergamer Invite League, but I think recently he actually did get his Weedfield and Magic Car buffed in terms of the mana cost, so it might be a hero to watch out for. And the Magic Armor buff as well did help him out. So just waiting to get into the game now at the moment, and we've got a shout out to Big Hooks, the best dev in Oz, in the Twitch chat there. So interesting. I'm not sure if you can actually get anyone that had bigger hooks than Gimli in that bronze final there. So we'll have to see that one. And looks like we finally potentially got a server here for the grand final match.
Looks like, we might be getting underway. I think, the whole point was they didn't want the dreaded Oz 2 server. Bit nefarious, apparently. Should probably start going into those public games, kicking people out, telling them we need those Australian servers. Now, you mentioned before that Forgotten Gaming is a pretty big name on Hon Tour currently. I haven't been actually tracking their progress. I believe they were streamed. One of their matches were streamed by Honcast at some stage. Have you been able to follow the Forgotten Gaming's progress in that Hon Tour?
Yeah, of course. The only thing I haven't personally watched their matches live, but certainly have heard about all of Forgotten Gaming's exploits and shenanigans. I think may have even been Forgotten Gaming that got an annihilation on their Magnus in Hon Tour, and Magnus last game certainly showed that they are very strong with that hero, hero as well. So Forgotten Gaming, just checking as well. I think they did. They are in the Gold League currently, apparently, and but they can potentially still get into the Diamond League. So, in terms of an Australian team, that's pretty big news. So, certainly hope, going to be hoping and barracking for them throughout the course of Hon Tour.
Definitely. It looks like we got a server here, guys, so stay with us. We should be getting underway any minute now. So obviously the invites will be going out, putting the teams back together for the Game 2. Here's Newerth Invitational Cybergamer Invitational, grand final. So far, one game in favour of Forgotten Gaming. Zenith Gaming trying to win this next match to stay in it and push it to a third game. And hopefully, going to see a lot of action. Obviously, seeing a lot of action in that first game. And continuing on here on this Sunday night for a bit of Hon action. How you holding up, Gadget?
Yeah, holding up pretty well. I did actually have a